Well, the incredibly active weather continues as we watch two strong pieces of low pressure, some cold air aloft that just continues to drive rain into parts of the southeast. We're going to see that over the next couple of days. Also, we're seeing rain into the northeast, which has been heavy at times. And across the southeast, we're watching this, what we call a vertically stacked low start to take shape here. And this is going to lead to a slow-moving system. There's not going to be a lot of push into the upper level winds that's going to move this thing along. So it's just going to sit here and spin. And with this, we're bringing in a lot of moisture here across the southeast. This is going to intensify over the next couple of days. All of this rich, moist air that's going to be pulling in from the ocean, we're going to see a lot of what we call increasing theta E. In other words, that's air that's loaded with heat and moisture. And it's the perfect ingredient to see slow-moving and very efficient rain showers and thunderstorms, especially as that moisture gets pushed along a stalled boundary. You start to see training of the storms, and I think that's what we're going to be dealing with over the next couple of days. It's one of the reasons when you look at the Weather Prediction Center's rainfall outlook, this is impressive. Look at these numbers across parts of the southeast, 4 or 5. In some cases, especially here in the parts of Georgia, through Monday night into early Tuesday morning, some areas could see 5, maybe even 6 inches of rain. So not just here are we going to see the heavy rain, further to the north too, across the Carolinas, and really up and down the East Coast as we widen this back out. You can see all the way up into parts of North Carolina, up into the mountains too, and then across Georgia, Alabama, back into Mississippi, some heavy rain here. The rain starts to move out of the northeast, but not before dumping another couple of inches over the next 24 hours or so. Across the central U.S., it's kind of quiet here. We've seen quite a bit of sunshine today. Most of the moisture again across the southeast. Just some clouds across Texas. Look at this northeast flow. You can see the low-level clouds building in here as our front drops to the south. High pressure building in across the Great Lakes, setting us up for a cold night. We've got frost advisories out for parts of Ohio, into parts of the northeast heading into tonight as, again, that chilly Canadian air mass settles in. Let's take a look at the weekend, and we'll work our way through the rest of, well, I guess, as we head into next week, too. There goes your low, finally pulling out of the northeast. This vertically stacked low taking shape across the south. We'll see rain here, but across the Great Lakes, we're cool and dry. Also across the west, we're dry, too, but we're going to be hot. Record heat possible across the Dakotas, into parts of the northern plains. It's going to be quite warm here. Steamy. Temperatures a good 20, 25 degrees above average. This low still spins over the next couple of days. Once we move into Monday, look, not much movement. It's going to be a soggy go in this area for the next several days. Across the Pacific Northwest, we're watching our next cold pocket of air move in. This is going to drop our snow levels back down, so more May snow on the way for the Rockies into the Pacific Northwest. Chilly and damp here underneath this cold pocket of air. And then by the time we get toward Thursday and Friday, we start to see things drying out across the southeast. The weather pattern is starting to shift up a bit. We're seeing ridging developing across at least parts of the mid-Mississippi Valley. I think this dries us out across the southeast too. Warm front lifting north along this front. That's going to warm temperatures up around the Great Lakes too as winds turn more southwesterly. And then I think we have to watch maybe toward Friday and Saturday for some thunderstorms to develop. Still a long time before we get to that point. A quick look at the upper level flow. This kind of depicts things a little bit better if you're following along. There's that pocket of cold air across the west. Here's the upper low in the Gulf Coast states that's going to continue to bring the unsettled weather. This is a pretty deep trough for this time of year, so I expect this to really allow some cold air to build into the west as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. It's going to bring it into those record warm temperatures that we've seen in some areas, especially as we get toward Wednesday and Thursday as that chilly air marches east of the Rockies into the northern central U.S. By the time we get, though, toward next weekend, I think the pattern starts to shift up a little bit. Some ridging trying to show up here on the European, but I think that the pattern is, look at this, cut off lobes of cold air. I mean, across a tremendous amount of the northern hemisphere. Here's a bit of a different view. Look at this. You can see one here, one just to the southeast of Greenland. Pretty chilly right now across parts of Europe, too, and over into Asia. You've got these cold pockets of air that have separated from what was left of the polar vortex as we see our seasonal change. So the pattern is here. It's very May-like, for sure. Severe thunderstorms possible, not just, this would be what's left of tonight across the southeast coast, but heading into tomorrow, that threat shifts more into Florida and also up into parts of Montana. We could see some storms here. Those move east into eastern Montana and South Dakota and North Dakota as we head into Sunday, and more storms across the southeast with those heavy rain makers possible too. All right, look at all of the moisture. This is what we call precipitable water. This is a good way to look at how much moisture is in the atmosphere if you were to squeeze it all out from the surface all the way up to the top of the atmosphere. And if you could squeeze it all out, this is what you would get. So a good way to look at this, precipitable water values approaching 2 inches across parts of Georgia. So very efficient rainmakers here. It's one of the reasons that the Weather Prediction Center is watching this area over the next couple of days. And I mean, a lot of moisture around this part of the country. Finally, we start to see this change up a little bit by the time we get towards next week, at least some drier air. But we're getting to that time of year, guys, where we almost don't get rid of the humidity in the south. It's starting to settle in. Okay, let's look at the future radar for the next 24 hours or so, at least across the central U.S. There's the rain across Alabama, Mississippi, also into parts of Georgia. It could be heavy at times. Some of these could be strong heading into Saturday afternoon, but quiet across the central U.S. Plenty of sunshine in many of these areas. After a cool start across parts of Missouri into Illinois and Indiana, we warm back up into the 70s and we get hot up into the Black Hills. I mean, we could be pushing into the upper 80s to the 90s. It's really going to stay warm here heading into Sunday. That heat builds east. Now we're into Minnesota. Dare I say, we could push 90 in many areas. I mean, how about that International Falls possibly up into the mid-80s? One of the hottest days we've seen so far this year on the way. Further to the east, the storms continue through the evening hours along the southeast coast. There's that low spinning across the southeast, and we do see the moisture finally kicking out of the northeast too. Dry from the Great Lakes further west in the upper Midwest, but more rain showers across the southeast. I mean, we've talked about that over and over. It's not really going anywhere. I do want to tell you how cold it's going to be. Saturday morning. If you got plans on Saturday morning, it's the time of year where you have a lot of outdoor events, graduation ceremonies, those kind of things happening. It's going to take a little while to warm up from the central Appalachians up into Pennsylvania. So even by 9, 10 o'clock, you're still talking about upper 40s to lower 50s here from the mountains of southwest Virginia all the way up into the northeast. It's going to take a little while to warm up. And even finally by the afternoon, we crack into the 60s. We stay chilly, though, across northern parts of New England into Maine into the 40s. And cool across the south, mostly just because of all of the cloud cover that's going to be around. You're just not going to get as much sunshine. Back into the west we go. Not a lot, really, across the central U.S. too, but we're dry here and hot. We've talked about those temperatures cooling down, though, across the Pacific Northwest with the next weather system that's going to move in. That's going to drop those snow levels down. It's going to bring some rain, some heavy snow possible. This will be interesting to watch as we move toward Tuesday and Wednesday across this region. A hot Saturday on the way from the Central Valley of California down into the deserts. Probably going to hit 100, maybe better than that, across into Phoenix. Even up toward Flagstaff will probably be well up into the 70s, close to 80. So pretty warm here across the southwest, and we've talked about that in eastern Montana into the Dakotas where we're pushing well into the 90s. So pretty warm here, and another quick look back across the central U.S. just with a bit of a different view. There's that low moving away. A few showers possible across the Dakotas by the time we get toward Wednesday. That's going to bring an end to that record heat, and it kind of turns wet across this region, but sort of staying dry across the southern plains. Maybe some showers, though, by the end of the weekend to next weekend. Okay, that's a quick look at their weather around the country. If you're new to the channel, hope you'll consider coming back and subscribing. Thanks to all the OGs. Several of you joining the live channel today. Appreciate that. If you're just popping in, if it's live, you can back it up, watch it from the beginning. And if you ever miss these live streams, you can always come back. Welcome again. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate the support. See you next time.